Good evening, class. Today we're going to be talking about writing slope-intercept equations. And the slope-intercept equation is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. Okay? Again, m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. So make sure that you have written this down in your notes and follow along with the video. If we've already talked about it in class, you've already taken notes, then you do not need to take them again. But if you don't have them, go ahead and take down the notes. Okay, let's take a look at some examples. All right. So if I want to write an equation for this graph, I know that I need to find the slope, and the y-intercept, or the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, so I need to find m and b. I can look at the graph and find b. I can see that the graph crosses the y-axis at 5, 0, 5. So the y-intercept is 5. For the slope, I need to take a closer look. So what I'm going to do is draw in my slope triangle. I go down by 2 and over by 1. So my slope is going to be, I can see it's a negative line, -2 over 1, which simply equals -2. So then I just look at my slope-intercept equation, y equals mx plus b okay, and I substitute in, instead of m, or instead of the slope, I'm going to put in -2. Oh, I mix matched the colors. Bummer. Sorry, guys. Trying to do this for you to help you, and I think I may have actually confused you. The slope is -2, and the y-intercept is 5. So our equation is y equals -2x plus 5. All right, let's take a look at a little bit more complicated one. Let's take a look here at this first one. We have a horizontal line. When we have a horizontal line like this, we know from class that our slope is going to be equal to 0. Now we look at the y-intercept and we can see the y-intercept here. It's a little hard to see. This is 1, 2, and 3. The y-intercept is 3. So our equation is actually y equals, we start with the formula, y equals mx plus b. Our m is 0, so it would be y equals 0 times x plus 3, which gives us essentially y equals 3. 0 times x is just 0, so that goes away. If we look at the next one's a little more complicated. This slope is undefined. Okay, slope is undefined. And also we have no y-intercept. At no point does the graph cross the y-axis. So whenever you have an undefined slope, your equation is going to look like this. X equals something. In this case, that something is 3 because our graph crosses the x-axis at 3. So your equation here is x equals 3. Okay. Now, this says, write an equation for the line that has a slope of -1/2 and passes through -4 and 6. Okay, so in order to write an equation for a line, we know that we need to find slope and y-intercept, m and b. We already know what m is. We know that m is equal to -1/2 because that's given in the problem. Okay? And we also know the slope-intercept equation, which is the most useful equation you guys are going to learn this whole year, I think. Y equals mx plus b. Okay? And then what we do is we start substituting because we're going to want to find and solve for b, the thing we don't know. So we definitely know that m is -1/2, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in, -1/2. Now, x, we actually do know what 1x value is. That is -4, and 6 is our y. So instead of y, I'm going to put in 6. Instead of x, I'm going to put in -4. And then I'm going to simply solve this equation for b. Okay, so I get 6 equals -1/2 times -4 is +2 plus b. Then I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, or subtract 2 from both sides, and I'm going to get b equals 4. So now I know what b is, and I can write my equation. I can write y equals -1/2 x plus 4. And that is our answer. Y equals -1/2 x plus 4. If we want to make sure that it's correct, which is of course always a good idea, what we can do is substitute in x and y. I can say, okay, 6 equals -1/2 times -4 plus 4. And let's see if it balances. 6 equals +2 plus 4. 6 equals 6. And yes, it does, in fact, work. Okay, let's take a look at the next slide. Write an equation for the line that passes through 1799 and 1163. So again, in this one, we need to find the slope and the y-intercept. In this case, we have neither the slope nor the y-intercept, so we have to do a little bit of work. We're going to need to use the slope formula. I'm going to label this A, B, C, D. So I know that my slope is equal to B minus D over A minus C. Okay, B minus D is 99 minus 63 over A minus C, 17 minus 11. All right, 99 minus 63 is going to give us 36. 36 over 6, which equals 6. So our slope is 6. Now that I know my slope is 6, I can go back to my equation y equals mx plus b and start substituting in slope and my points on the line to solve for b. So I found that y equals 6x plus b and now I need to find x and y. I actually know x and y. I can choose either 1799 or 1163. Let's go ahead and choose 1163. So over here for y, I put 63 equals 6 times x, which is 11, plus b. I get 63 equals 66 plus b. I'm going to subtract 66 from both sides, and I get b equals -3. So my equation is y equals, my slope is 6x minus 3. And that is my equation. Y equals 6x minus 3. All right, and the last one. Last slide, last example. Let's take a look at writing an equation for a table. So again, we need to find slope and y-intercept in order to be able to find the equation. So now let's take a look. That B looks really weird. Sorry guys, what's up with that? B looks weird. Okay, that's kind of better. Let's start with slope. So what we can do is find our change in x over our change, or our change in y rather, over our change in x. So the change from 5 to 10 is plus 5. From 10 to -5 is -15. From -5 to -10 is -5. So these are all over the place. Plus 4 here, minus 12, and then minus 4. So if I look at my change in y over my change in x, which is how we calculate slope, I'm going to get 4 over 5 for the first one. Then I'm going to get, the second one is -12 over -15, which simplifies to 4 over 5. And then finally, -4 over -5, which is the same as +4 over 5. Oops, or 4 over 5. So it's clear that this is linear, and it's also clear that our slope is 4 over 5. So now I go ahead and I write my slope-intercept equation. Y equals, this time we know 4 over 5 is our slope. 4 over 5x plus b. Now I'm going to come in and substitute for x and y some values from the table. I'm going to choose the easiest ones I can see, which are 5 and 2. 2 equals 1 over 5, or I'm sorry, not 1 over 5, 4 over 5 times our x value, which is 5, plus b. Okay, so now we get 2 equals 4 plus b. I subtract 4 from both sides and I get b equals -2. So now I've got my slope and I've got my b. I can go ahead and write my equation, which is y equals, slope is 4 over 5x plus -2 or -2. So y equals 4 over 5x minus 2. All right, and that's it. I know this video was a little bit long, but hopefully it was helpful. We will be going over this and practicing all of this stuff in class. So I will see you again soon. Have a good night.